Imam Qasim here, from all the way from Texas, and he just told me this morning that he was in Minnesota, and told him that we would find a way to have him speak. So please welcome Imam Qasim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wassalam ala Muhammad Rasulullah wa Shafila wa Mustafa Ameen. Assalamu alaikum. I told Sister Laura that I had a reputation for being spontaneous. I didn't mean spontaneous. But that's fine. Alhamdulillah. It's a very, very easy task. Of course, you didn't give me a time, so I'm going to assume it might be 2 minutes or something like that. 10 hours. As you mentioned, I'm in Houston, Texas now. And as a matter of fact, the masjid that I lead, Masjid of Tawheed, on our Shura board, we happen to have the executive director of CAIR Texas that advises us, Brother Mustafa Carroll. We work very, very closely with CAIR and other organizations. One of the things that I want us to really pay close attention to, a reminder to myself as well as the rest of us, that CAIR, the Council on American Islamic Relations, is much more than just a civil rights organization. It's more than that, from my perspective. Because if it was just a matter of it being a civil rights organization, then it would be kind of like reinventing the wheel. But it's much deeper than that, from what I see, from my experience moving around the country. And I work very closely with CAIR directors in Cleveland, Ohio, Julia Shearson, and very closely with Dr. Hassan Bagby, very close with Brother Nizar Hamzi down in Florida. Everywhere that I go in the country to do my dawah work, and actually I do fundraising for many organizations, usually the strongest support I get on the ground is from the representatives and volunteers from CAIR. There's something that I want us to pay very, very close attention to as we look in the media, and we notice that what the media is doing, and this is no indictment, blanket indictment on media employees or workers, but it's inadvertently happening to us. And when I say us now, I'm not just talking about Muslims. I'm talking about all right-minded and God-conscious people, people who have basic human ethics. That's who I'm addressing tonight, not just Muslims. Is that we have a tendency to be moved and affected by people who try to demonize the Islamic terminology and make many Muslims afraid of it ourselves. They demonize the Islamic terminology the way that they have blanketed basic English terms. When I was a kid, if you were gay, that means you were just happy. Now I can't go anywhere and say I'm feeling gay today. It will be all over the news. A crib was where babies slept. Now that's what the teenagers call it a house. But what we have to understand is that when you take words in Islam, like jihad, which means religious struggle, and allow the public to make us afraid to even say that word in public because they want to make it seem like that's some extremist, violent person, or there's somebody want to wage war against innocent people. The same way that they have taken other words and to coin the most prominent thing that CAIR has been fighting lately, the Sharia. They're trying to turn the word Sharia into some type of demonistic term that goes against the rights of Americans. When actually, to say that Sharia is wrong is really an oxymoron, because the reason why we can live so peacefully in America is because of Sharia. Because the Sharia demands respect and the rights of people who have a different faith. It protects them. But we have to be very, very careful to not allow ourselves to become afraid to stand for something that is beneficial for everyone. And having said that, I want us to look at the most important function of an organization like CAIR. You see, it's not the Islamophobia that is the most dangerous thing that's happening in America. It's the Islamophobia phobia. Because we have Muslims that are intimidated by people who are intimidated by Islam. And so what CAIR does, CAIR stands up as a vanguard to make us pay close attention to how hard we have to work and how unified we must be to take a stand against anything that is wrong, anything that goes against the rights of every citizen in this country. That's what we're here to work on. That's what this evening is about. That's what the mission of CAIR is about. We have to understand that in order for us to demonstrate that we're willing to stand up for the rights of every American, we have to believe that the rights of humanity is at stake. It's not just Muslims, but don't be afraid of those who are afraid of Islam. And I'm speaking not only to Muslims, but to non-Muslims. Because many of the non-Muslims, and some of you are in this room, you have friends and working associates and collaboratives and students and teachers that are good examples of what Islam should be. And some of the best Muslims are Christians, and some of the best Christians are Muslim. Because we're looking at terminology. Sometimes we get hung up on language and terminology, and we forget that the definition of the words is what we should focus on. Muslim means one who has a nature to submit to the will of God. And one who calls himself Muslim is one who submits to that nature and brings out the very best. So if we continue to work together, if we continue to support the efforts of organizations just like this, we can actually realize a more peaceful society. Understand this, brothers and sisters, that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not sent to Muslims. He was not sent to Arabs. He was not sent to the Quraysh. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent to humanity. He loved humanity so much that he had to get a divine revelation in order to fight his enemies back who were opposing him and disrespecting him. So we want to stand up for the rights of humanity. This is not just about trying to fight for a religion. We don't have to fight for religion because the religion of Islam will fight for itself. All we have to do is stand up and stand our ground as human beings who believe in the beautiful essence of morality, the beautiful essence of basic human ethics. That's what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam stood for.